You were expecting 25, but here we got 50.
No, I'm genuinely surprised by the size of the rate cut because it's contrary to the messaging of the Fed going into the meeting, which is that the economy is okay and the employment market is weakening, but only gradually. So, yeah, if you talked to me yesterday, I would have said 25 basis points. I think there was an article in the Wall Street Journal suggesting it might be 50 at the weekend. So that was probably the clue that they were going to go bigger. But bottom line is contrary to the messaging going in. But the key point here is what the Federal Reserve believes is the neutral rate. So my guess that is probably in the 3 to 3.5% range. So even if the US achieves the soft landing, so to speak, we're probably going to be at between 3 and 3.5 by the middle of next year. But in terms of the short term, I'm surprised I'm surprised it's 50 basis points.
Do you think it's got a political angle to it as well, with elections in November?
My guess, given the fact that whatever they might argue today is quite, anybody who can read and listen is contrary to the messaging going into the meeting. So my guess at the margin is political. Because it's pretty clear that probably the vast majority of members of the Fed would prefer Donald Trump not being elected.
I see. And
I'm sure the Republican candidate will view it as political.
But does it help at the margin?
Maybe. I'm not sure it does help. Maybe at the margin.
Okay. I want to come back to the U.S. political sort of elections season in just a bit. But we don't see 50 basis point cuts without a crisis. Either very apparent or, I mean, something which they're worried about. But
there could be conspiracy theories that they know something and the economy is much weaker than which is a risk of them cutting 50 basis points yesterday, actually. But my guess is they actually genuinely believe the economy is okay. So that's why I think the motivating factor is political. And there clearly are some members of the Fed who are very political. Former New York Chairman Bill Dudley has been calling aggressively for a 50 basis point rate cut. If I remember correctly, he was the guy who once wrote an article calling on the Fed to manage monetary policy in a way that could stop President Trump being re-elected in the previous election. So I think there have been quite a lot of people calling aggressively for rate cuts, saying the Fed's behind the curve. But that's not the message transmitted by the Fed chairman, Mr. Powell. Yep.